What up, Okaloosa County? It's your boy Matt Bell back again with action from the 2020 Okaloosa Schools Academic Tournament. We have a very competitive match today between Niceville and Fort Walton. We'll be right back with the team introductions after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We'll start with introductions from Niceville High School.
Zach Went.
Nick Morgan.
David Ott.
Devin Tucker.
And now let's introduce Fort Walton.
I'm Savannah B.
I'm Grayson O.
Jenna L.
Joseph Hall.
All right, thank you all. And on to toss-up number 1, social studies. Beluga whales live in this river and its namesake gulf. The Great Lakes Commission divides this river into 3 sections, including the estuary from Quebec City to Anticosti Island, and the freshwater river from Quebec City to Lake Ontario. Identify this Canadian river whose namesake gulf is part of its namesake seaway that flows into the Atlantic Ocean. And Zach for Niceville.
St. Lawrence River.
St. Lawrence River is correct. Your first bonus is in literature. Name these queens of myth for your first bonus. This Trojan queen and wife of Priam became a slave to Odysseus and later blinded her son's killer.
Hecuba.
Hecuba is correct. And your second bonus, this queen of Mycenae and the wife of Agamemnon took a lover named Aegisthus and killed Agamemnon.
Clytemnestra.
Clytemnestra is correct. Toss-up 2 is in science. After his doctoral dissertation on the nerves of the human heart, he moved to Germany and developed a way to measure the amount of saliva created by a dog. Also, Joseph for Fort Walton.
Pavlov.
Pavlov is correct. Your bonus is in math. Pencils and paper ready. Each side of a square reflecting pool is 8 feet long. For your first bonus, give the volume of water in the pool in cubic feet if the pool is filled to a height of 9 inches.
64 times 9. But that would be, but that's feet and inches.
Maybe 64.
I'm sorry, time is up. The answer is 48 cubic feet. For your second bonus, if 1 cubic foot of water is 7.5 gallons and 1 gallon weighs 8.5 pounds, find the weight of the water in the pool.
And it said it was 48.
Yes.
So 48 times 7.5 times 8.5.
I'm sorry, time is up. It's 3,060 pounds. Toss-up 3, literature. In this work, a descendant of Shield Chieftain requires the aid of the title character, who becomes king of his people after Hygelac and his son both. That's Nick for Niceville?
Beowulf.
Beowulf is correct. Your third bonus, social studies. Answer these about the Cold War period. For your first bonus. During this race of the 1950s and 1960s, the Soviet Union and United States tried to outdo each other in rockets, orbits around the Earth, and landing on the moon.
Space race.
Space race is correct. And your second bonus, give the first and last name of the leader who let the Soviets place nuclear missiles in Cuba, starting the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Fidel Castro.
Fidel Castro is correct. Toss-up 4, math, pencils and paper ready. For a polygon, a diagonal is a line between any two vertices that are not already connected by the polygon itself. By that definition, how many diagonals can be drawn from the vertices of a heptagon? And time is up. The answer is 14. On to toss-up number 5, social studies. It was the first state to have a female governor and 2 female U.S. senators at the same time. Its consecutive Democrat governors over the last 30 years have included Christine Gregoire and former 2020 presidential candidate Jay Inslee. Name this state whose flag features a picture of America's first president. Nick for Niceville.
Washington.
Washington's correct. Imagine that. Your bonus is in science. Pencils and paper ready. Iron combines with chlorine gas to create iron 3 chloride. For your first bonus, balance this equation, assuming that the chlorine is diatomic.
Okay, so it's Fe3Cl. No, FeCl3. So
6 Fe, 2 Cl2, 2 F3Cl. It's this name.
6 Fe plus 3 Cl2 yields 2 FeCl3.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It's 2 Fe, 3, you said 6, 3 Cl2 plus, or yields 2 FeCl3. For your second bonus, iron's atomic mass is 56, while chlorine's atomic mass is 35.5. How many total atomic mass units are on each side of the equation?
325.
Okay, if you're confident.
325.
325 is correct. Toss-up 6 is in fine arts. Designed by architect Jules Hardouin-Mansart, this room's marble pilasters all have bronze capitals. This room was used daily by King Louis XIV to go between his apartment and his private chapel. Identify this central gallery of the palace at Versailles, whose 357 features for which it is named all serve to reflect the palace's gardens. Is Nick for Niceville?
Hall of Mirrors.
Hall of Mirrors is correct. Your bonus is miscellaneous. Name these school friends of Nate in the comic strip Big Nate. Your first bonus, the one from Belarus who can beat Nate at chess.
Yuri. Igor. I don't know. Yuri. Yuri.
Defer to Zach.
Yuri.
Yuri's incorrect. It's Artur Pashkov. And your second bonus. This best friend of Nate's has a cat named Pickles.
Harry. I don't know. Harry.
Harry.
Sorry, it's incorrect. It's Francis Pope. Toss-up 7 is in science. The main types of this process are called gas, liquid, thin layer, and paper. The retention factor calculated in this process is the ratio of distance moved by solute. Savannah for Fort Walton?
Chromatography.
Chromatography is correct. And your bonus is in language arts. These words start with the letter H. For your first bonus, something you see that isn't there, especially if under the influence of dangerous drugs.
Hallucination.
Hallucination is correct. Your second bonus, to rail on someone for something that they did that you don't like.
Harass.
Yeah,
Harass.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It's harangue. Toss-up 8, miscellaneous. When activated by pulling on a lever or pushing with a foot, it uses a cable system to lock a car's rear wheels in place. Give the 2-word name for this device that can be used in critical moments. Nick for Niceville?
Emergency brake.
That is correct. Parking brake or handbrake would have been accepted as well. Your bonus is in social studies. Name these present-day countries that, at some point, were part of the Ottoman Empire. For your first bonus, this country was called Italian North Africa from the early 1900s until after World War II.
Libya.
Probably.
Sure.
Libya.
Libya is correct. And your second bonus, the Ottomans almost took this country's capital in 1683 after a siege, but Vienna held firm.
Austria.
Austria.
Austria is correct. Toss-up 9, literature. Because her father, Shanaeus, wanted only sons, he was left on a mountain to die, but was found and suckled by a she-bear. As a grown-up, she and her lover were turned into lions for committing sacrilege in a shrine. Grayson for Fort Walton.
Atalanta.
Atalanta is correct. Your bonus is in math. Pencils and paper ready. Simplify each of these exponent expressions for your first bonus. Y to the negative 5th divided by y to the negative 11th.
Y to the negative 16th? Wait, no. Y to the positive 6.
Y to the positive 6?
That's correct. And your second bonus. W to the 4th times W to the 10th divided by W to the negative 9th.
14 plus 9. 23rd.
W to the 23rd?
That is correct. Toss up 10, math, pencils and paper ready. Multiply the complex numbers 3 plus 8i and 4 minus 5i. Nick for Niceville.
52 plus 17i.
That is correct, and your bonus is in social studies. Answer these about U.S. fads in the 1920s for your first bonus. This word described a young woman who bobbed her hair, wore short skirts, and danced the Charleston.
Flapper.
Flapper is correct. Your second bonus. People sat on top of one of these for days at a time, presumably having food and drink sent up to them.
Car. Wait, no, is it a car? Like a drive-in? Drive-in movie theater? Balcony wouldn't make sense.
Defer to David.
Bow.
I'm sorry, the answer was not in time. It's a flagpole. That is the end of the first half. We'll be right back with the scores and more action. Stay tuned.
I chose to come to collegiate high school because you get free college and your high school diploma at the same time, and that's the best opportunity for any high school student.
I wanted to grow as an individual, and so I decided to move here to not be grouped into these different categories that you'd find in like traditional high schools.
I came to collegiate because I wanted to get used to college work and just being in a college environment before I actually move on to a bigger university.
The thing that makes Collegiate High different from other schools in Okaloosa County is that we're a small school. Students that attend the Collegiate High School are not just a number. We know students by name because of the small school atmosphere.
Many students think that if you go to collegiate, you can't play sports, you can't be in music, you can't be a high school student, but I still went to homecoming. I still went to the football games. I had fun with all my friends. And collegiate doesn't take that away from you. It adds on to your amazing personality.
In order to be successful at Collegiate High School, motivation, student motivation. You have to be academically motivated because you'll be academically challenged.
But when you go to a university, they'll see that you're dedicated and you're willing to take the course load that you'll be taking.
Welcome back to the 2020 Okaloosa Schools Academic Tournament. We have a score from the first half of Niceville 140, Fort Walton 60. We also have a substitution for Niceville. I'll let you introduce yourself now.
Allie Davis.
Thank you, Allie. Let's get on with the action. We'll have a toss-up in social studies. Its defendant was a Louisiana judge who had previously established that the Louisiana Railway Car Act was... Savannah for Fort Walton.
Plessy versus Ferguson?
That is correct. Your bonus is in miscellaneous. Name the actors who played these characters in the 2019 film Avengers Endgame. For your first bonus, Thanos.
Josh Brolin.
I defer to Grayson.
Josh Brolin.
That is correct. And your second bonus, Loki.
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston is correct. Toss up 12, fine arts. In its second verse, its singer talks about a bull going bust and a horse running off. Contradictions in this song from 1848 include, "It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry." Name this Stephen Foster folk song whose singer came from Alabama. It's Savannah for Fort Walton.
When I See an Elephant Fly?
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. In an interrupt, I'll repeat the entire question for Niceville. In its second verse, its singer talks about a bull going bust and a horse running off. Contradictions in this song from 1848 include, "It rained all night the day I left, the weather it was dry." Name this Stephen Foster folk song whose singer came from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Zach for Niceville?
The Heart of Dixie.
Sorry, that's incorrect. It's O Susanna. On to toss-up 13, science. Pencils and paper ready. The heat content of a wood source is inversely proportional to the wood's moisture content. When the wood is totally dry, it creates 21 megajoules per kilogram burned. When the wood is totally wet, it creates no energy at all. Giving your answer to 2 decimal places, calculate the expected heat content of a wood source to be burned that is 36% moisture. Sorry, time is up. The answer is 13.44 megajoules per kilogram burned. On to toss-up 14, language arts. Give the adjective that is the first word in 2 word phrases whose second words are school, style, and there's Nick for Niceville. Oh, sorry, you did not get that in. Let's incorrect and interrupt. I will repeat the entire question for Fort Walton. Give the adjective that is the first word in 2 word phrases whose second words are school, style, dominion, Trafford, West, Testament, made, age, and faithful. Joseph for Fort Walton?
Old.
Old is correct. And your bonus is in science. It packs lipids and proteins into vesicles for transportation. For your first bonus, identify this cell organelle.
Golgi apparatus.
Yeah. Golgi apparatus.
Golgi apparatus is correct. And your second bonus, these organelles carry enzymes created by the Golgi apparatus that break down waste and excess material in the cell.
Yeah.
Lysosomes.
Lysosomes is correct. Toss-up in social studies. The Emperor Domitian added a hypogeum to this structure. That is Zach for Niceville.
The Colosseum.
The Colosseum is correct. Your bonus is in fine arts. Answer these about gifts available in the Guggenheim Museum gift shop. For your first bonus, buy a pair of socks depicting this Russian abstract artist's Composition 8, one of the museum's most popular paintings.
I have no. Is it the artist or the painting?
The artist.
I have zero idea.
No answer.
No answer given. It's Vasily Kandinsky. And for your second bonus, buy a reproduction of this 20th century Italian sculpture, The Head, featuring a woman with an incredible long face. We're looking for the artist.
20th century Salvador Dali.
No, he's not a sculptor. No answer.
That's Amadeo Modigliani. Toss-up in miscellaneous. His past albums include Obsessed and King Baby. His riffs on food include one where he asks, "Can we stop with the kale propaganda?" and another where he gives his opinion of Hot Pockets. Name this stand-up comedian whose wife and writing partner, Jeannie, recently survived a brain tumor and who earlier in his career lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in New York City with Jeannie and their 5 children. Zach for Niceville?
Dave Chappelle.
That's incorrect. Can you take it, Fort Walton? Jennifer, Fort Walton?
Bill Cosby.
Sorry, that's incorrect. That's Jim Gaffigan. Toss-up in math. Pencils and paper ready. Exactly 1 year ago, Mark divided $50,000 between a bank account paying 1% annual interest and another paying 2% annual interest. In the last year, he has received a total of $700 in interest. How much money did Mark first put into the account paying 2% interest? Sorry, time's up. The answer is $20,000. On to toss-up 18, social studies. His statue in Athens honors his helping the Greek people to preserve their freedom and national integrity and keeping communists from taking over the country. Identify this U.S. president whose namesake doctrine, Zach for Niceville?
Truman.
Truman is correct. Your bonus is in math. Pencils and paper ready. The 21 coins in a pile are all either quarters, dimes, or nickels. For your first bonus, if the pile has X quarters and Y dimes, give the equation representing Z the number of nickels.
21 minus x plus z. X plus
Y.
21 minus quantity x plus y. Or 21 minus
Yes,
x.
that is correct, yes. And your second bonus. Give the pile's number of dollars in terms of X, Y, and Z.
0.25x plus 0.1y plus 0.05z.
Yeah.
0.25x plus 0.1y plus 0.05z.
That is correct. Toss up in literature. Before her 17 years teaching at Princeton, she published her first novel at age 39 about a victim of sexual abuse named Piccola, who eventually loses her sanity. Name this Nobel laureate, born in Ohio with the name Chloe Wofford, who died in 2019 after a career that included her novels Tar Baby and Sula. Grayson for Fort Walton.
Virginia Woolf.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Can you take it, Niceville? Time's up. The answer is Toni Morrison. Toss up 20 in social studies. The English Garden Park in this city is larger than New York's Central Park and includes a Chinese pagoda, a Japanese tea house, a small Greek temple, and 2 beer gardens. In this city with a BMW car museum, Adolf Hitler tried to take over the Bavarian government in 1923. Name this German host city for the 1972 Summer Olympics. Zach for Niceville?
Berlin.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect and an interrupt. I'll repeat the entire question for Fort Walton. The English Garden Park in this city is larger than New York's Central Park and includes a Chinese pagoda, a Japanese tea house, a small Greek temple, and 2 beer gardens. In this city with a BMW car museum, Adolf Hitler tried to take over the Bavarian government in 1923. Name this German host city for the 1972 Summer Olympics that is known for its Oktoberfest. Grayson for Fort Walton.
Munich.
Munich is correct. Your bonus is in language arts. Give the number of words capitalized in each of these sentences. Don't forget the first word. For your first bonus, Michael has to work on both Christmas and Thanksgiving.
3. Yeah, 3.
3.
3 is correct. And your second bonus, Stella's favorite novel is The Sun Also Rises.
5.
5.
5 is correct. Toss up 21 in science. When the mineral olivine has hot seawater added during this process, the olivine absorbs the water, decreases its density, produces heat and chemical energy, and actually changes into another mineral. Give the term for this process named for the snake-like feel and look of the new mineral after the process is complete. Savannah for Fort Walton?
Molting.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Can you take it, Niceville? Nick for Niceville.
Shedding.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. That's serpentinization. And that's the end of the match. We will be right back with the final score. Stay tuned.
Cox started partnering with the Blue Wahoos during their inaugural season back in 2012. Most recently, we brought the new Cox Clubhouse to the stadium and the in-stadium Wi-Fi that really allows fans to connect with the experience in an even deeper way now.
When you look at the Wahoos, we always did really well in fan experience, except in one area, and that was connectivity. And so when we did this with Cox, we were pretty excited because we went from worst to first in the world of connectivity in minor league baseball.
Welcome back to Match 8 of the 2020 Okaloosa Schools Academic Tournament. We have a final, Niceville 170, Fort Walton 145. Niceville advances to play collegiate in the finals. Congratulations, Niceville. Thanks for trying this year, Fort Walton. We'd like to thank our sponsors, General Dynamics and Microsystems. Y'all stay tuned for more action in the next match. Thanks.